Hey everyone, welcome back to another bonus episode. As you know, I have been celebrating 4 years of Civics and Coffee by launching extra content each Wednesday in August. I've been teasing that I had a bit of a big reveal at the end of the month, and I'm so happy to finally let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. I have officially launched a Civics and Coffee Patreon. By signing up, not only are you joining the Civics and Coffee community and helping the show stay ad-free, you also get a few perks. The biggest perk of all is extra content. I try to keep Civics and Coffee family-friendly, so episodes can be used in classrooms and by parents looking to share a bit of history with their children. When you sign up for the Patreon, you will get what I am calling the Civics and Coffee After Dark version, Civics and Cocktails. With Civics and Cocktails, you still get the same great history, just with an adult twist. Each month, I will chat about a topic from history and will be joined by a guest or two who will bring a cocktail to share while we dive into the stories of our past. I am so excited to give you a preview of what you'll get by joining the Patreon community with this week's bonus episode reviewing Civil War era erotica. If you like what you hear and you want more, be sure to head over to the website and sign up for the Patreon at www.civicsandcoffee.com. Thanks, peeps. I'll see you Saturday. Welcome to Civics and Cocktails, the grown-up sibling of Civics and Coffee. On this special series, I will be diving into the stories of our past with a side of spirited conversations. Sip, listen, and enjoy as my guests and I uncover the flavors of America's past. Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Civics and Cocktails, the adult version of Civics and Coffee. I am your favorite local historian, Alicia. While I normally host Civics and Coffee solo, I thought it might be fun to invite a guest or two while chatting about history and thought, what better way to con people into joining me than by the offer of booze? With me today are Shadra and Val. Say hello, ladies.
Hello, ladies.
And for the inaugural episode, I thought I'd talk about something a little spicier than my normal Civics and Coffee content. Ladies, what comes to mind when you think about the Civil War? Shadra?
Soldiers. Gangrene. Gettysburg.
Normally, erotica isn't going to be on the list. And as a country tore itself apart during the Civil War, ironically enough, erotica became a force to be reckoned with. Men who were far from home and entrenched in the grim reality of battle frequently sought solace in the illicit allure of porn. They became tools of camaraderie, shared amongst soldiers to forge bonds in the face of death. But despite the popularity of these materials, they were quickly deemed as obscene, prompting the government to try to regulate their distribution. All efforts proved futile until Anthony Comstock, a figure whose crusade against quote-unquote obscenity would change the game forever. Get ready to sip, learn, and get historically hydrated. Let's do this. As I'm doing Civics and Cocktails, I thought I'm going to bring the history and I'll let my guests bring the drinks. So I gave them a little bit of a synopsis of what they could expect and let them choose. So what are we drinking today, ladies? I think, Shadra, you came up with this one, so why don't you tell the audience what we're drinking?
We're drinking an old-fashioned. I came to this because old-fashioned feels old-timey, kind of like the porn we're going to talk about. I was going to do a Naked and Famous, as was suggested, because that also makes sense since we're talking about pornography. But you don't like mezcal. I didn't have yellow chartreuse or limes. So I decided to stick with the old-fashioned. A little bourbon, a little simple syrup, some bitters, and away we go.
All right. And this is a historic cocktail, right? Old Fashioned has been around since the 1830s, I think we figured out.
I was reading the Death & Co. cocktail book, which is amazing, and they gave a little bit of a history of what is classic versus vintage. And classic is defined as a drink that was popular immediately and has remained popular, which the Old Fashioned has, along with the Manhattan. There's other drinks that are just kind of the time, like the Last Word was very popular, but it's faded. So that was a little bit of interesting history.
Tying it all together.
You're welcome.
Okay, so full disclosure to the audience, I am not a bourbon drinker, so I am a little afraid of what this old fashioned is going to do to me and trying to get through this history. But here we go. Cheers, ladies. Let's do this to getting historically hydrated. All right, so let's dive in. Let's first talk about porn, where how it came to America. So, like everything, porn was originally imported, and it came from across the seas in Europe.
And porn. What? We couldn't even come up with our own porn?
No. It was originally imported.
It seems so unpatriotic.
My guess would have been France.
Yes, I agreed.
Yeah. And then America really followed Europe's example. So as Europe kind of passed laws kind of trying to curtail porn and porn distribution, so too did America. And of course, like it stands today, right, there's never really been a clear parameter or clear definition of what constitutes erotica or porn. It's always in the eye of the beholder. Original attempts at curbing the dissemination of porn date back to 1842, when the U.S. Customs law banned importation of what they considered quote-unquote lewd material.
Ooh, like what kind? What's lewd material?
I was going to ask for an example.
Well, also, I just keep going to Leo and Titanic. Like, draw me like one of your French girls, Jack. Would they have tried to stop that?
Yes, actually, they would have. So back in the 1840s, the technology wasn't as great as it is in 2024, of course. So you're thinking a lot of artwork that actually created a big rigmarole because there was some nude art that was imported from Italy, I believe, that the U.S. had kind of an issue with. And people were getting upset saying, there is a line between what's considered erotica and what's considered art. And so with the kind of the attempt to manage the importation of erotic material, this is where we start to get our own homegrown porn. Because if they couldn't import it, they were going to make it themselves. Many of these were, again, pirated versions of what was already being produced in Europe. As a layer of protection, many authors and creators of erotic material used pseudonyms, so to avoid any kind of legal blowback. The fake names served as code for readers who knew what author to look for when they wanted something spicy.
I'm curious. Okay, so what about the publishers or the people that were printing out this material?
I couldn't find anything about the printing process other than when they were packaging it. It was very discernible because it was printed on
covered in plastic.
No, it wasn't covered in plastic. Actually,
Just keeping it clean.
It was printed on like really cheap yellow paper. And actually, it was sold pretty publicly. Newsstands, railroad stations, and the docks, which was a very major point of commercial activity.
The secrecy around writing it versus like distributing it and publishing it, it's interesting.
It's like a whole Bridgerton lady whistle down type.
Kind of like,
right?
It's okay for this group, but not the gentleman that created it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, well, and this is the 1830s, 1840s, so printing operations weren't incredibly robust either, so you have to keep that in mind. You're dealing with probably a lot of local printers. Some of these authors might even have had their own printing press, so and that probably helped. But yeah, no, that's a good question. But trying to avoid any kind of legal blowback, they start to go and use the mail. So where this was usually publicly available on newsstands, not covered in plastic, as Shadra mentioned, just out in the public for everybody to see. As things got more strict, they moved their distribution to the mail. And so books became eligible for shipping as early as 1851. So that really helped kind of solidify these distributors for kind of keeping their business afloat. Mail, though, it was not necessarily a secure and guaranteed way that material would arrive, as there were several complaints about carriers, quote unquote, confiscating the lewd material. Some even claiming that it was for the carrier's own personal enjoyment.
Postal service, I thought, was rain, snow, but like in the case of porn, we don't know.
Delivering that porn on time.
I can get it through sleep, but if it's pouring out, That might just disappear along the way. Okay.
Well, and again, because it was, I believe even though they were shipping it in books, it was still printed on that very cheap
yellow
paper.
not plastic.
Exactly. So in that sense, it was easily discernible, right, what it was. So they knew if they wanted a little something, they could
So
just.
if I were a carrier, I'd be like, I'm just going to borrow this for a hot sec. And your mail's going to be a few days late.
Oh, geez. In the field, owning porn and erotica was not an issue for soldiers. It was pretty widespread and prevalent. It only became an issue if the soldier got into trouble for something else. Then the kind of holding on to and having porn was used as kind of an extra strike against the record to show that they had bad judgment.
Like, and also.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. All right, friends, there is your teaser for Civics and Cocktails. There is so much more to this conversation that you can enjoy by heading on over to the website and signing up for the Patreon. By signing up, you will also get a say in what bonus content is shared with the community and get little treats from yours truly. Thank you all for a great 4 years. Here is to seeing you on the Patreon.